price played exactly as we analyzed last week on this channel, where I said we have a break of structure up to this side. Then at that point, this was last week candle close, and I said that we need to see a candle closing below it first, then a retracement back to this valid order block we had here. And you can see that was exactly what we had right from here. And I had a very beautiful sell around this area here. We also talked about this on DXY, where I said coming back to this order block here and likely to see a bounce from there. And you can see that's exactly what is playing on the DXY. Welcome back to the channel, guys. In case you just come to the channel for the first time, this is Dave, and all I do on this channel is discuss tips that stay profitable as a forex trader. Also drop a weekly analysis and what we are to be expecting for the week. So this week, what are we expecting from the EURUSD? Just like I talked about this last week, where it's likely to see price drop further here, then retrace back to this point, and we get ourselves. Actually, we're going to be selling all the way to this point where I said I'll be likely to be taking my target zone of this particular area. But my first level target needs to remain below this low here. And actually looking at this market, we are not able to get the first target before we started seeing price reacting to the upside. I know some of people are already buying this market right from here, but actually this is not the right time to start buying USD. Even if we are to go bullish on USD, let me show you something. Like I explained on the previous video, where I plotted this channel, connected this one to this one, and pressed the upside. So you can see price also what came back to the top of the channel, mitigated it, and we are seeing that drop from there. Now, if I'm to use this structure from the 4H time frame perspective, looking at this, so this I'm going to zoom out this area. So looking at this, we had a pull, and we had a break of structure to the downside from the internal structure. Following this internal structure, we had a break of structure here. So this break of structure, and what we have to expect again is what price pullback, then drop further. But at this particular point, price pullback, all right, and started dropping, couldn't come to this area, which gave us our failure swing right from here, right? So we had a failure swing from that area. So which that one is very clear. The high that broke the structure here to the downside is this high. So for this price to remain in the downtrend, this is the high that needs to be protected. And actually price took out this high here. So following this 4-hour structure, so that's change of character, so which is my market structure shift. So means price has shifted to the upside. But even if this trend here we are looking here is to continue in an uptrend, when we have a scenario like this, the low that broke this character we had here is this low. So if I take my Fibonacci tools right from this low all the way to this high, so you have to be looking for a buying opportunity below the discount price. That's if price is to continue. And looking at this market, you can actually see that we are still trading above that premium price, right? So we have not even getting to equilibrium, which is this 50% retracement. So anything below this 50% retracement is where we want to be looking for entry, like being in the Fibonacci golden zone or being in the Fibonacci OTE zone. And actually, where we can actually see from this particular one here is this area here where we had a value order block. At least, even if this price is to follow the structure we had there on the 4H and want to continue bullish, you should actually wait for a pullback to a valid place where you can actually buy from, which is going to be inside of this discount area. Then if you get a confirmation on lower time frame change of character, then you can now start taking the buy. At the moment, this is not the right time to start buying this market. You need to wait for price dipped into the discount area where you can actually get in for a better long position. So at the moment, what I'm just seeing at this point, if I zoom out this area, is I'm just only seeing price maybe retracing further a little bit higher to somewhere here, then continue dropping till we drop inside that area. So this is actually what I'm just seeing on the EURUSD chart. So you following this structure here, like a buy continuation here, is actually a trap, because look at this market. Let's look at this market. This market is not even reacting from any valid point here. There's no valid point here. You can actually see, even looking at the structure of this market, this is liquidity, and you can see this is never taking. So price is only trading above it. So looking at this pull up we had here, there is a trap. We had one liquidity here, two liquidity here. At least this liquidity here should be taken, and this. So we need to see a deep down back into this zone. And you can actually see that we had an imbalance region here where price needs to come and mitigate. Then public tapped into this very sharp candle we had here, which is going to be our valid point. And that is exactly where I'm going to be taking my TP, selling right from this high all the way to this bottom. So this is exactly what I'm seeing on Euro USD. So you want to wait for that confirmation before you actually want to go long on this market. The best thing you actually want to do now is actually go short, because we already had our break of structures to the upside here from the internal structure. This is for each time frame, and we actually what broke this high. We actually broke the low that gave us this new high, which become our change of character. And since then, we have been seeing a downtrend. So it's just a high, a lower low, a lower high, a lower low. This another lower high, another lower low. Probably coming for a new lower high again. Then was continue dropping further for a lower low, and price continue moving in that manner. So you want to wait for in that manner. So let me take you to GBPUSD today, and which we have something similar on GBPUSD too as well. And looking at price on GBPUSD, though GBPUSD is moving more aggressively than that of EURUSD, but this still also follow the structure. If you actually see here, this more look like a resistance zone, and you can actually see that price came to this upside the first time, swept it, came the second time again, swept it, and after sweeping the second time, it actually broke down and break below this low we had here. So you can actually see the body of the candle closing below it. So, and price was pulled back and started was dropping right from there. Now, looking at this pullback we had here, this is the high, right? And this is the low. If I use the Fibonacci tools, just like what I was explaining on the DXY, just like what I was explaining on the Euro USD, taking Fibonacci from this high all the way to this low. So you could actually see that what price pulled into the premium area. You know, when you're selling, you want price to pull into premium before you want to continue with the sell. Right? You can see price pulled into that premium area, then before it will drop further. So this is exactly how you want to be approaching the market. And looking at this structure here, this is another lower low here. This is another place we broke structure to the downside. So the high, which is still valid here, is still this high. And looking at this market, we are still trading below that high. So you don't want to be buying this kind of market, though this move is aggressive, but that was they say we are bullish. Just like I said on Euro USD, if you look at this chart very well here, are we are not actually reversing from any valid pure high, just like we are looking here, because you can actually see following the order of this market, we had a double bottom here, and so we start as well liquidity. So this needs to be taken out. And if I also zoom in the charts, join my fib, even if you have to follow this structure here, just like what we had of Nego USD, you can actually see this is the low, this is the high, this is the low, a break of the downside, they'll pull to the high again, they will break the structure again. Now, if I put this, we had the last break of structure here, right? So this is last break of structure. And after we had the break of structure, the high that gave us that break of structure was this. This is the high that should never be taken out. And here we actually broke above this high here, right? Which give us a what? A change of character. So after having our change of character at this very point, yeah. So even if you want to buy these markets, because we are just reversing from the downtrend to an uptrend. So even if you want to buy this market, you don't want to be buying this market at an expensive price. You want to wait for what price to come to premium. So, and how do you get a premium? If you use the Fibonacci, just like I said, put it from the low, last low there to that new high that price created before we start seeing this reversal. You can actually see that this place I call liquidity now is actually sitting on the equilibrium price. So which price, which I'm still expecting what price to actually trade back to this pocket here, then maybe give us a confirmation around this area. That's if price wants to continue bullish, then we can actually continue going long. So which this signifies that we actually need to see that drop into this zone before you can even consider taking this market long. So looking at this long here, taking a market long from this area to me is actually a trap. So that is for GBP USD to our way. I can actually see how everything is actually perfectly aligning with each other. So if you want to trade with caution, you don't just want to get in trade randomly. If you want to buy, actually wait for price. You can actually, even looking at this pocket here, you can actually see this is imbalance in this area here. So the only place without no imbalance is right from this valid area here. And you actually want to wait for price to tap into this pocket. And if I actually show you something very interesting on this area too as well, so let me delete this. Just like as I've talked about this on the channel before. Look at this candle and this one and this one. This is actually an morning star candle. So even if you want to go for long, this is the area you want to wait for price to come into, tap into it, and then start buying from there. So this is another blog. I've actually talked about this other blog on this channel before. So if there's not what the video, you can check somewhere around this top. The link might appear, or just check in the description. I'm going to include the link in the description. So watch how to actually trade this other blog. And you can actually see right before this other blog, we also add an inducement here, which can magnet price to tap into this area. So this is our inducement, and which can magnet price to tap into this area. That's if the buy wants to continue right from this area. So which what I'm trying to say is currently this is not the right spot to get in this trade for long. At least wait for price to clear this fair value gap we have here, this FBG, then tapped into this zone. Then you can now say if you get a confirmation like a lower time, like let's say for example 1 hour market structure shift, then we cannot say the price is still bullish. We can start buying from there. But looking at this market right from this very top, we are actually bearish. No, we are not bullish right from this high here, because you can actually see this reversal we had from this high here actually reacting from this zone we had here, this indecision price actually what came to mitigate that area, and we are dropping right from the region. So let me take it to USDCHF, which actually see something similar on the USDCHF chart. So let me show you CHF. So I already had the analysis on the weird CHF, which I dropped this in my WhatsApp community. So in case you're not on the community, as well I dropped it on my Telegram community, you can also always check the link. You can always check the link in the description and join the community. So what I stated there is you can actually see right from here we had a break of structure, the downside. So you can see this is a break of structure. And the high that gave us this break of structure is this particular high here. So for this bias to remain in a downtrend, this high should never be taken out, right? And what do you see? Price will trade above the high, giving us the market structure shift, which some people call change of character. So after we had a change of character, how do you want to buy? Just like I said, if you want to buy a price in an uptrend, so you can actually see price in a downtrend now shifting from a downtrend to an uptrend. You want to wait for price to come to a discount price when you want to buy, where you actually need confirmation. So taking my Fibonacci from this low all the way to this high. So looking at this market, you can actually see that you are still trading above that discount price. That's why I said we need to dip into it. And looking at this region here, this is actually the OTE zone, and we had a very valid order block sitting right there. So which I'm expecting price to tap into this other block, then give a confirmation. So if you are saying price should drop here, that means a temporal sell to this point, which is actually what we are actually seeing on USD as well, a temporal pullback before the actual sell take place. So before what the actual buy take place. So I'm looking at this structure right from here to as well. The last high that broke this structure, because you can actually see here that this is our break of structure, right? So from this point, so we are actually in an uptrend. So this is, and we took out this low, which actually become our change of character. So this is our change of character, right? So right from this change of character we had there, which is our market structure shift, where do you actually want to buy? Why did I use this place as my market change of character? Because this is an internal structure. So what I mark there is looking at this by going from this low here, higher high, a lower high, price pull up again, higher high, a lower high, then pull up again, a higher high, or it's a lower high. Now, this lower high, if this structure here has broken this price to the upside, we can say this will become our new low. For the low, this one was not able to break above this place. So this still remains the protected low. And you can actually see price dip down, broke it, which become our change of character. Now, if you have a ticket character, even if you want to sell this market, because looking at this change of character from here, it means you actually want to be looking for sales opportunity, right? You actually need to wait for price to pull into the premium area. So using Fibonacci right from this high to this new low where we started seeing the reversal, you can actually see that we are not even close to the 50% retracement, which is the equilibrium price, talk less of what going. So we are not actually even close to the equilibrium price. So talk less of even entering the premium price where we can actually sell from, or even the Fibonacci golden zone which you add here and the OTE zone. Looking at this price here, the last valid zone where I actually want to be looking for entry is this one here, because you can actually see we still had indecision to clear off here. So these are this is FVG. So once we clear FVG taps into this zone, then we can actually say we want to be looking for sales opportunity. But even before that, you can actually see the lower time frame structure gave this confirmation of change of character, which is actually going to give us that push up we need into this zone. That's if the price want to actually what continue selling right from this point. So when we had a lower time frame structure shift from this area, then we can say yes, we still want to continue selling following the change of character we had at this very region. So we still need what price tapping back into this area, then trade all the way to this high here, then you are actually going to see something like this, a confirmation. So which will be having a change of character at this very point here. The price can now what collapse downside. That's if the sell wants to continue taking place. So if you actually go to DXY as well, same similar thing you see here, you're actually going to see it on the DXY because we actually know that DXY is the flip chart of EURUSD. So you can actually see it. We already had this. So looking at this on DXY, if I zoom this place out, so now price is even more clearer here. We had this after we broke above this, pull back into the zone, then give us another what break of structural rise from here, then we pull back again, give us another break of structural rise from here. So following this last break of structure we had here, all right. So this is the break of structure. Following this last break of structure we had there. So we actually need to see price retrace a little bit before the further trend continue. And the valid order block which I'm looking right in this area is this particular order block that is here. So taps into this place, then continue buying. And once you see the XY continue buying, it actually signifies that Eagle USD is going to be selling because Eagle USD is the flip chart of DXY. And looking at this area on DXY, we had a lot of gaps here which price needs to mitigate. And this coming future before we can even talk of selling further. This is a lot of gaps here, and maybe price tap into one of these key levels here. That if you now get a confirmation, we can continue selling like that. So this is all I'm seeing on the GBPUSD, EURUSD, USDCHF, and the DXY chart. In case you're finding value in this channel, you want to smash that subscribe button, drop a like, and don't forget to click on the notification bell and drop your comment in the comment section. Let me know what you feel about this analysis, guys. Let me know your thoughts on the direction of the dollar for the coming week. And I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.